Okay, seriously, this is genuinely admirable.
I have actually been on the front lines bringing food to desperate people and have shed many tears over those dying of hunger. I live on about $15,000 a year. Consider the poverty line here in Canada. I live in my van regularly, willingly sacrificing to keep expenses down, and yet, even with all of that, I still give money to the poor and needy, including funding relief efforts to starving people around the world.
The combination of humility and charity is one for which I have great personal respect. However, Mr. Juby, you go on to say this.
You sit at home producing hate-filled internet videos criticizing people like me over starving people when I'm actually out there doing something about starving people. I wonder how many people starved to death because you did not put any time or money into saving them. Shame on you. Shame on you.
What you fail to realise, Ian, in your disrespect for science and reason, is that people like the living dinosaur, Potholer 54 and Wildwood Claire, who mix harsh words with credible scientific detail in order to discredit people like you, is that they are potentially doing more good for their fellow man than you ever could. This is Trofim Lyshenko, the unqualified biological pseudo-scientist whose theories confused the ideal with the real. That is, the ideals of a socialist utopia with the realities of crop biology. The theories of Lyshenko influenced agriculture in many communist countries during the early to mid-20th century. This, Ian, is you, the unqualified biological pseudo-scientist and avuncular deceiver of minors whose creationist theories also confuse the ideal with the real. That is, the ideals of biblical literalism with the realities of natural history. Like many of your kind, I suspect you would love to have political influence of the sort enjoyed by Lyshenko. The problem is that Lyshenko's ideas were a significant factor in tens of millions of people starving to death. So in the Great Chinese Famine of 1958 to 1961, in which an estimated 15 to 45 million died, many crop yields were stunted because of Lyshenko's silly idea that plants of the same species have some kind of class affiliation, which means that individual organisms do not compete when densely planted. The lesson, Ian, is that if charlatans like you or Lyshenko are allowed to go unchallenged or indeed unridiculed, there is a remote chance that your stupid ideas could attain some public influence, potentially contributing to the deaths through starvation or disease of massive numbers of people. I'm sure you will agree, as someone who has witnessed starving people, Ian, that your public humiliation is a small price to pay to help avoid the horrors of mass starvation. Thank you for listening.